NXT TAKEOVER and SummerSlam are now both 30-somethings. Cue the late 80s yuppie music. I'm Chris Wolvie, the wrestling blogger who always tells it like it is. The Amway Center temporarily renamed WWE THUNDERDOME, and NXT being sans competition while the AEW moves from Wednesdays thanks to the NBA, the WWE is finally at a turning point in its year. And what better way to celebrate the end of 5 months of incarceration in the Performance Center than 3 pay-per-views in the span of 8 days? Payback will have to wait for next week. For now, let's get the major pay-per-views out of the way. We start with my picks for NXT TAKEOVER XXX 30. Kickoff match to see who faces Imperium for the NXT Tag Titles on a later date. Breezango versus Legado de Fantasma versus Oni Lorcan and Danny Burch. Come on. I haven't seen Burch and Lorcan as a team in a long while, and even then they weren't all that great. And Wilder and Mendoza may have been doing their thing in 205 Live, but in front of actual NXT cameras, they haven't really done much without Santos Escobar by their side. So as much as it kills me to say it, the winners are Breezango. Oh, for Canada's sake, give Everrise a push already! Finn Balor versus Timothy Thatcher. Timmy has been kicking ass and taking names ever since he came over from the UK to knock Matt Riddle onto SmackDown. Finn Balor? Well, ever since he got chased off SmackDown by The Fiend, he hasn't really done all that much since, except for ditching the demon for the prince. We've seen relative rookie versus big veteran before, and again, though I hate to admit it, the rookie has smelled like roses almost every time. Winner is Timothy Thatcher. Adam Cole versus Pat McAfee. The way that McAfee has been cursing out Adam Cole and truly everyone in NXT and the PC, could this be the point where the Undisputed Era turn face? Seems almost impossible to phantom, especially with the heel Cole holding the record for the longest NXT Championship reign. Again, another rookie versus veteran match, but this time, however, with the UE by his side, no way Thatcher's gonna punk Cole's head into the end zone. Winner is Adam Cole, baby! NXT Women's Championship. Io Shirai defends against Dakota Kai. Now, technically, Shirai won the title in a triple threat match where the champ at the time, Charlotte Flair, wasn't involved in the decision. Not that Shirai hasn't made up for it since TakeOver in Your House. It's just that she's only been in 3 matches since. Yeah, she's won them all, but look, I'm just saying that Kai's been a bit more busier since then, if not more successful. I'm seeing an upset in an excellent match. Winner and new champion, Dakota Kai. Ladder match for the vacant North American Championship. Bronson Reed, Damian Priest, Cameron Grimes, Johnny Gargano, and Velveteen Dream. This is the match of the night, folks. All 5 men deserve to be NXT secondary champ. Gargano and Dream deserve to be 2-time champs. More so Dream, who got screwed out of the NXT title. Grimes has been slumming it for so long that he could use the recognition. Priest has been kicking tail for so long to not get some recognition. And Reed? Well, he may be a bit of an outsider, but ladder matches are made for outsiders. Well, since there are no 5-sided coins or dice that I own, I went through a random number generator, picked 100 numbers from 1 to 5, and whichever showed up most often was my pick. And that pick is Damian Priest. The former Ring of Honor TV champ needs some recognition, as I said. Finally, for the NXT Championship, Keith Lee versus Karrion Kross. Wow. For a guy who says he wouldn't be bullied into signing a title match, William Regal sure seems like one in this case. Oh, no doubt that Kross has been on a rampage as of late, and he definitely deserves the push, but Lee has also been on a tear. After all, he's the first to be both NXT and North American champ, and the only one to defend both titles in one match. That's not nothing, folks. And as sure as I am that he wants to see his Legion return and bask in his glory again, I'm certain he's willing to fight so that he remains champ until that day. Cross has been undefeated since coming to NXT, but like sands through the hourglass, so are the days of his dominance. Winner and still champion Keith Lee. Okay, now on to my predictions for the 33rd rendition of SummerSlam. You'll never see it coming. And if any matches show up today or tomorrow, I'll add a pick in the comments. Let's start with the street fight. Dominic Mysterio versus the Monday Night Messiah Seth Rollins. Talk about baptism by fire. No sooner does Dominic sign the contract that makes him a WWE superstar than he essentially gets branded against the ropes with a little help from Murphy and a couple of kendo sticks. Not too many people get scarred their first time in the ring. But though he's probably still hurting like hell, he's acting like Philip Hamilton in the musical. He'll put his body on the line to make his papa proud. I'm sure Ray is praying Dominic doesn't end up like Philip in the musical. But with street fight rules and Ray there to counter Murphy, Dominic will certainly put Rollins through the ringer and then some. Winner is Dominic Mysterio. No disqualification match with the loser leaving the WWE. Mandy Rose versus Sonya Deville. You know, I was kind of hoping they'd kept it hair versus hair. It's been a long time since we've seen one of those on a major pay-per-view. And even longer since the ladies were involved. I think WrestleMania 20. But I guess the Thunderdome idea of 2 enter, 1 leave has to show up sometime, so best to get it out of the way. The truth be told, I'd rather they both leave the WWE, as the most Rose has done is get into a sickening romance with Otis, and Deville has done even less. But if I have to pick one, I guess it would have to be Rose. I mean, she does look better than Deville, and despite the romance angle, she has been improving a bit. Sonya Deville, give AEW a kiss if you will. Winner is Mandy Rose. Raw Tag Team Championship, Street Profits versus Andrade and Angel Garcia. Listen, the a-holes, as I've been calling them, haven't exactly been clicking on all cylinders lately, but now that their first tag team title is within reach, they're going to focus and work together. Well, either that or they're going to catch Infierno from Zelina Vega. I think this will be the toughest test for the Street Profits since they first nabbed the titles, and that's saying a lot coming from the same brand as the Viking Raiders. I actually would like to see Dawkins and Ford drop the belts since they own them throughout their sequestering at the PC. It'll take some doing for Andrade and Garza to stay focused on the task at hand, but I see the smoke finally being doused. Winner and new champs, Andrade and Garza. United States Championship, Apollo Crews versus MVP. Yeah, you know, when you ban a heel's minions from ringside, that just means one of two things. A, they're gonna show up anyway at the end, or B, they're gonna do something without actually going to ringside to distract the face. MVP is meant to be a manager, or advocate, or whatever the hell you call it these days, not a champion. Leave it to one of the other Hurt Business associates to rack up the titles. And Apollo Crews is still getting used to that newfangled title belt and the prestige therein. But something will happen to make Bobby Lashley and or Shelton Benjamin run down that ramp and beat the holy heck out of Crews, setting up something for payback, I'm sure. Winner by disqualification, Apollo Crews. Let's go 2 for 1 here. Asuka faces Bayley for the SmackDown Women's title, and then Sasha Banks for the Raw Women's title. I know I've said this is it before when it comes to the downfall of Bayley and Banks. I've said it a half-dozen times at least. But I'm certain that this is it, is it. It's just a bit shocking that the same woman is going after both titles. Everyone wants Asuka to get the same dominance that she had when she went undefeated for over 2 years. And let's face it, Asuka seems to have inherited the mantle of last kicker from the previous two-belter Becky Lynch. So if anyone can beat the so-called role models, it's her. And then they'll lose the tag titles at Payback and the team will be history. I seriously doubt they'll be helping each other keep the titles. Winner and new SmackDown and Raw Women's Champ, Asuka. Universal Championship, Braun Strowman versus The Fiend, Bray Wyatt. We knew this would happen, right? The Fiend versus the Monster. We just thought it would happen a few months earlier, and we wouldn't have to do this whole Three Faces of Wyatt crap. But we have it now, and with this whole Sister Alexa Bagale going instead. This might be a turning point for Strowman. He's been a face for a fair number of years now, ever since he ditched the Black Sheep moniker. And really, a person nicknamed Monster Among Men, that's not really a nickname for a forever face, is it? What do you think Andre the Giant ditched the whole Gentle Giant deal? I'm thinking that The Fiend does not want the Universal title, but rather he wants Strowman back in the fold and Alexa Bliss by his side as well. Strowman will win the match, that's for certain, but he will succumb to the temptation and stand by The Fiend once again. Yowie, wowie, what a way to turn! Winner is Braun Strowman, but the loser will be the WWE as a whole. Finally, the WWE Championship. Drew McIntyre defends against Randy Orton. You know, it has been a while since RKO's had a primary title, hasn't it? He hasn't held one since he was screwed out of the WWE title by Jinder Mahal over 3 years ago. And before that, his last WWE title was 3 years before that. So he's about due, right? Yeah, he has had the US title once, but he was no John Cena, really. Plus, he lost that title to Mahal as well, if you can believe it. Will this be McIntyre's toughest opponent since beating Brock Lesnar? Oh, hell yes. There's nothing more dangerous than a Viper starving for a title. Is McIntyre up for the task? Again, hell yeah. This will be the match of that night. It'll be brutally savage and savagely brutal. Randy will come close and maybe even get his punch ready. But if anyone can kick out of an RKO, whether out of nowhere or not, it's the guy who kicked out of multiple F5s to win the belt in the first place. Winner and still champ, Drew McIntyre. Those are my picks. I'll be back next week for my payback picks, assuming there's a card to be had. I'm Chris Wolvie, the wrestling blogger who always tells it like it is. Stay safe, and I'll see you.